for the future. So there was a 538 million redundancy cost built into the results for 2022. Honorable Chair, for ZCCM, the main issue that was persisting in those 2 years, as you recall, we had the issue with the ownership of the mines and the suspension of production. So that lowering of production resulted in a reduction in revenues of 3.7 billion. And that is what affected the performance of ZCCM in those 2 years. So members will be aware and be pleased to note that with the closing of transactions in Mopani mine with new partners and also the stabilization of the KCM contract with the new owners, we are now in a position to produce more, and we expect more revenues from these entities. For other entities like Times Prince Park and Zambia Railways, the reduced income for Times Prince Park was a result of the cessation of activities for Times, which was consolidated together with Daily Mail. So Times Prince Park no longer exists. It's going to go under a liquidation process. For Zambia Railways, there was an impairment gain, which we discussed when we met with the Zambia Railways group here, of the 99 million, which was not persistent for this particular year. I think we dealt with this with the committee at the time we came with the Zambia Railways team. Those were the key aspects for those companies. The other large one has to do with Zamtel. Zamtel also had a significant loss for 2022 of 544 million. And when we look at that, the main issue with Zamtel are the social sites which they are carrying. And the management of those social towers means that they are carrying a cost of which has now accumulated to $48 million, which they are discussing with the Minister of Finance to be reimbursed for those costs. So once that is done, it means that Zamtel's performance going forward into the future will be reimbursed on a year-by-year basis, and these costs will not recur. So that is a critical element of how this performance will be improved in the near future. Zambia Airways, Honorable Chair, this is just a new entity, started operations in 2021, and we expect, together with the shareholders, our partners, Ethiopian Airlines, that the new business plan will show how we will transition this entity into profitability in the next 5 years. The other entities with losses, they are much smaller, Honorable Chair, and mostly some like Mulungushi Village was impacted by COVID-19. There are no bookings during that period, and also there are tax losses for Superior Milling, and also Zampam for that particular year. There were admin costs which are not compensated by the ability to generate revenues for these projects that we are running in these places. So, Honorable Chair, that is what I can submit on the losses under page 9, which was citing those entities. On table 7 shows the dividend structure that was given. Obviously, 2021, 2022 were similar amounts of dividend from those entities that we are doing well. Honorable Chair, now we turn to page 10, where the Auditor General looked at the shareholder loans, which we are carrying as a group. We do support these entities with loans so that they can continue operating and be able to give service to the people and to their customers. So for Superior Milling, which we had acquired, we are financing it through shareholders' loans, and Auditor General noted that there are amounts which are not supported by a loan agreement. Honorable Chair, yes, the loan agreement exists, but it has not yet been signed, even as we speak, because there is a further transition going on as a result of the food crisis that happened last year. where now we have ZNS operating from these premises to produce the mini-meal that is required to satisfy and the stabilization of prices. But we intend to sign that loan agreement and do funding mechanisms that will close this issue during the course of this quarter. Honorable Chair, the next item on page 11 was the poor management of investment projects, which the Auditor General noted, and in particular it had to do with Lusaka South M-Phase, where there was a culvert to be completed and done. Honorable Chair, I've gone ahead of myself there. This one is the completion of the clearing of land at the farm by ZNS, where the Auditor General noted that we did pay ZNS, but they had not completed the work. We do have confirmation from ZNS and a commitment that they are going to finish this work that is covered by the outstanding amount. So the root cause really was that as a contractor, ZNS was leveraging on the government-to-government relationship during that period, and once they started working on our property, we made advance payments to them to make sure that they are able to resource and bring equipment on board, which we did. And once they finished executing the work, they demobilized without finalizing the work that they had committed. So ZNS has committed to provide these services equivalent to the outstanding amount which was paid in advance to them. On page 12 at the bottom, we come to procurement matters. The first item the Auditor General noted was the use of an irregular procurement method where we went for simplified bidding for an amount that exceeded 1 million kwacha. And so the root cause was this, that before we tendered for this furniture, we thought that the cost would not go beyond 1 million. But when the quotations later came, having identified the furniture from the supplier, the amount was above. And that is really where the error went. We thought we were applying the correct method, but the furniture cost proved the prices that we are working with were not correct, and therefore it turned out the method that we had used to identify the supplier then did not fit the structure of the procurement processes. This was done due to very tight timelines for a delegation which was visiting this facility. Honorable Chair, I think management can only commit to ensure that this does not recur in the future, because the procurement methods are pretty clear. The next item on page 13, Honorable Chair, was what was termed as wasteful expenditure by Auditor General, which was interest payments on a contract for the commissioning of the fruit processing plant in Katete district, where in terms of the IPC contract IDC had signed, there were delays in paying the amounts according to the periods that they were due, and unfortunately the contract had a provision for interest, which meant that we had to pay an extra $40,657 because of the delays that were experienced. Honorable Chair, in terms of the corrective measures, yes, we have reached an amicable agreement with the contractor and paid, but in future we will seek to manage such clauses in the contracts that we are signing. And I do recall, Honorable Chair, that in the other submission we made with the subsidiaries to this committee, we had a similar issue on contracting, which we hope to make sure that we get guidance from our legal teams on how these will be handled in the future. We do get advice from Attorney General on most of these contracts and clearances, but unfortunately we still do have these clauses which we hope to manage better in the future. Honorable Chair, on page 14, there's an issue of unaccounted iPads which was pointed out by the Auditor General. We had purchased on the 16th of June 2022 57 iPads at the cost of 2 million, of which 15 were still in stores at the time that the Auditor General was reviewing our records, and then 3 iPads could not be accounted for, which amount to 133,000 kwacha as at 30th September 2023. There seems to have been a lapse in documentation as these items were being received and procured. At the time, IDC did not have a stores officer to actually store the items, and therefore at the time of doing the reconciliations we found ourselves with 3 iPads missing, which were then internally subjected to an investigation to see where they are. There is a report internally on this issue to try and see how we can improve through the Audit and Risk Committee. So that has been done, but the 3 iPads have not been found. So I think we can only commit to correct the documentation and the processing and procurement processes for this, so that such losses and lapses do not recur. Honorable Chair, on page 15 at the bottom was the issue that I had alluded to earlier, which is the payment for works on the construction of a drainage system for the scaling of the solar at the Lusaka Multi-Facility Economic Zone. So this one, Auditor General noticed that we had paid an amount for work that was not completed according to his reviews. He said that the contractor performed less than 40% of the agreed works, and there are pictures that were set through. In our submission, we did give in the evidence column some pictures of how the site is. What happened was that in terms of the site itself on the ground, there are a lot of rocks which were not anticipated during the contracting process, where the contractor then varied his amounts which he needed to be paid. And then after doing the works, there was certification based on the works that he was doing for excavation and deployment of machinery to go over that difficult terrain, out of which the certificates themselves showed that work stood at 80%, but obviously in terms of where the culvert was supposed to be, the drainage system, it had not reached that stage. So that is the difference between the two. I think the root cause for the main variance was the fact that there was an absence of a detailed site investigation, which they call the site geophysical investigation, which is where you look at the terrain and what is underneath it, and to see how difficult or easy it would be to excavate. So therefore, as a result of that, the BOQ for the drainage system was at variance with the work that was actually to be done. And in the end, we had to part company with this contractor because of the difficulties of navigating that terrain. But the work was then completed by MPhase itself with a different contractor. So we did negotiate with the contractor and paid a settlement agreement to get him off-site, and the work was then subsequently completed by Lusaka MPhase itself. Honorable Chair, there were also issues that were looked at in terms of the certificates that were done for the refurbishing of the buildings that Zambia Airways was to occupy, where we had signed a contract with Wotech Enterprises to have this work done over a period of 1 year. Again, we did have cash constraints. The same clause that we had in the other contracts for construction seemed to have been there in this contract also for the delayed payments where interest was being charged. And Honorable Chair, if you look at the table 18, the interest rates that were being applied were ranging from 22% to 26%, which clause meant that if we delay the payments, if we have cash flow constraints, we are liable for additional amounts to be paid to the contractor. This is really a major issue in the contracting processes, as already pointed out, Honorable Chair, which we are trying to do something about for future contracts. So the root cause for the delay really was the fact that the entity did have cash flow problems at the time to be able to give the monies that were required to the contractor to complete this work. So since then we have paid the principal of the amounts that are owed to him. We are negotiating on the interest part for the overdue period. Honorable Chair, that is the situation over this contract. So also there are some remaining works which is for the hangar, the training school and the engineering building which are yet to be done. Again, these ones we have budgeted amounts now in 2024 to complete the remaining works. These buildings are part of the equity that we are giving to Zambia Airways under our agreement with our other partners, Ethiopian Airlines. So this is part of our capital which we have given to establish Zambia Airways. So we need to complete and have them valued to meet the equity requirements under our shareholders agreement, Honorable Chair. The next item is on page 19, which is has to do with the construction of the fruit processing plant at Kalene Hills. Auditor General cited at the bottom of page 19 of our submission that we didn't obtain clearance by Attorney General of this contract. Honorable Chair, prior to July 2022, IDC as an entity was using standard ZPPA templates for the contracts. And those templates, I think, had been given and passed through Attorney General. So the understanding at IDC as an entity was that if we are using these standard ZPPA templates for the contracts, then we did not need to send them back again to Attorney General to review. So that's how we are proceeding. You will see that in a few other contracts in the following pages as well. That prior to July 2022, when it was clarified then that even those templates which the Attorney General had already approved for use by ZPPA, that they also needed to go there. So that is where the lapse was, Honorable Chair and members. And so going forward now, everything is going to Attorney General. Yes, we do have issues with timings of clearances, but that process is currently being followed. Honorable Chair, the next item on page 20 was the tendering of civil works before completing the scoping of works, where Auditor General noted that we used a draft BOQ to go to tender, and then that lapse resulted into several variations which had to be done to the contracting process to achieve the work, and those variations amounted to 80 million kwacha. And he listed under page 21 on table 12 the variations for the contracts under that contract. So all of which was coming from the fact that we had used a draft BOQ instead of waiting for the full scoping of works to be done. Honorable Chair, yes, indeed, we did do that. IDC was using experts at the time from Ministry of Infrastructure, but indeed they should have waited. We should have waited to finish off on the work scope. We would have avoided these variations. So it is something that I think we are learning from in terms of the future works, Honorable Chair. So going forward, we have to make sure that even when we are using outside experts, the work is coordinated to ensure that the tendering is done only after a full work scope has been approved at various levels by the entity. So, Honorable Chair, the corrective action going forward is that we are putting through all those contracts through Attorney General, and also we work closely with the experts to make sure that the scoping of works is properly done. The next item on page 22 had to do with the construction of the tomato processing plant in Chisamba, which is Fig Tree, which had various work scopes which are listed there. We had to do construct a factory building, an office block, workshop, transformers, guard rooms and weigh bridge, as well as a room for operators. And all of that it had to be completed, and as of 20th February 2022, amount totaling 1.5 million had been paid to the contractor against certified works of 2 million. So what Auditor General cited again was approval of the contract by Attorney General. The same issue really arose in terms of root cause, in that the contract structure that was used was the template from ZPPA, which we felt, and this was in 2021, and we only got guidance that we needed Attorney General approval in July 2022 for those templates that were from ZPPA. So that's where the lapse came from, for failure to obtain approval from Attorney General. There is expired performance security by the contractor against this same contract. And so we did have an extension of 1 year up to the 18th of December, so that has since been done, and we are going through another extension so that we comply with this clause. At the time, Auditor General noted there was an expiry which was subsequently extended for the advance guarantee, and then we are now in the process of a further extension after 18th December to make sure that we are okay in terms of the structure of the contract for the construction. We have budgeted for completion of this construction in 2024, and we have issued a tender for the potential strategic partners to take over this plant once these works are completed, Honorable Chair. The next item on page 25 had to do with the physical inspection that was done by the Auditor General of the works. So physical inspection was carried out in March 2023 and revealed that works were not complete, in particular auxiliary buildings, factory building, office building and operators room. Again, the delay had to do with cash flow constraints, for which we have now budgeted again for 2024, when we do have the funds to be able to complete these works. So the remaining works are set for this year, and they will be completed, Honorable Chair. The next item, Auditor General notice, again had to do with rehabilitation works for Mukuba Hotel in Dola. There were several things that needed to be done. The hotel was an inherited hotel which needed extensive work to refurbish it under a contract which totaled 18.9 million if we include VAT. Again, the same problem was approval of the contract by Attorney General. Again, that is something that seemed to have been an issue for this period for us. So the real issue was really for us was that IDC was again using the same ZPPA templates which we thought had already had Attorney General approval before July 2022, and as it turns out, this was a breach of procedure really, for failure to understand that all of these that had come from ZPPA were needed to go through the approvals. Honorable Chair, on page 27, I wish to amend the root cause as recorded there. It is not really relying on the purchase order because the contract was there and the contract was just not cleared by Attorney General as a result of ZPPA template being used for this contracting as well. So I think I want the record to delete the reference to the local purchase order so that we get the proper root cause to be before the committee. I apologize for that, Honorable Chair. The next item was the valuation of works without approval. Again, it says that the amendment to variation of contracts has to have the approval of Secretary to the Treasury, and the review of record revealed that these variations totaling 4 million, which are listed on table 13, they are not approved by the Procurement Committee, Treasury and Attorney General. Again, here really was poor contract management that was persisting in this procurement section for this time. Our corrective measure is to ensure there is due process. We did have issues of personnel at that time in the procurement division, but that is not to say that we shouldn't have followed due process, Honorable Chair. So management will ensure that going forward procedures are followed, and we have resourced this section to make sure that we are not in breach and that such issues do not recur. Whenever there is a variation, we should follow due process to have it properly authorized. Honorable Chair, the last item in our submission, which was noted by the Auditor General, was the failure to correct rent at 4 properties listed in Table 14, Kambendekela House, Times of Zambia offices for 2 locations, and Tebe House in Mongo. The amounts that had not been collected were totaling 5 million, and in some of the periods were January to December. So it's like the whole year we had not collected. I think the root cause was during the COVID-19 period where business was very slow and many tenants were defaulting during that period. So we did have a few lockdowns and it was a difficult period for everyone. So what we have done since is to follow up and work with the tenants to see how these monies can be collected. I think by and large we have collected some monies, but some of the tenants obviously who are in the buildings, they are under distress, so we are working with our legal teams to see how this can be breached. Honorable Chair, that ends our submission on the main items identified by the Auditor General. So I think this now concludes then my submission to the committee at this time. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Group CEO. Honorable members, as guided, we will engage the witness tomorrow with follow-up questions, and that's where we begin from. At this point, I would like to withdraw the parliamentary immunity that I had conferred on you, and the meeting stands adjourned to tomorrow 9:30. Thank you.
Very good study from the Orange Group. Setting up the red tube in the hippogriff and the green tube moving quite fast. Obviously the process is being controlled by Tim, with the bright light in the blazer and the safety board in the middle. Like I said, Tim Cook is the founder of the organization, and the Cook family is a very strong running family with Zambian roots. There's emergency stop and turn into an elephant, requiring a lot of skill.
Okay, still no change in it, we still have South Africa in the lead, Oxford coming second, Cambridge lagging behind in third. Looks as South Africa's going to take the Victor Durham Cup this year round.
South Africa coming strong, Peter. South Africa coming strongly. South Africa coming strongly.
Here comes South Africa in very, very strongly. Sponsored by David Livingston's Safari, Livingston's Adventure. And coming up to the final, it's going to be an easy win here. Easy win through. South Africa came in the end at least for one thing, because Mr. Drink will never let me get away with it. Anyway, that's outstanding. Well played the Zambian team. Outstanding.
Zambia!
The first thing to realize is that history repeats itself all the time. And what happened in 1910, the authorities back then brought the World Championships of rowing to this town. And it was a marketing coup, because you can only host World Cup events in peaceful countries. Okay, and the movement of investors into this country back then in 1910 was enormous. So, if we do it again, we should see it all happening, because these guys will leave here praising South Africa. It's been very peaceful whilst they've been here, naturally, because that's what they are. Very wonderful people. They're always happy and accepted with open arms. And we had an amazing traditional event yesterday, and His Majesty here. Now, if people go to London to watch the changing of the guard of Buckingham Palace in red tunics, imagine coming to see a wonderful barge over here on the river. Our problem is Zambia is big. It's 4 times bigger than England. It's twice the size of Zimbabwe. So a lot of our events are so far away, it's difficult to get people to them. So we can bring them to the central focus, which is Livingston. It's got the Victoria Falls, the highest bridge in the world from 1905 at the time. All these wonderful other assets to it. And we can bring a little bit of traditional Zambia here too. Then my job is easy.
Come on, guys, give it more power. 1, 2, 3.
So as the ABSA Group, which is the parent company of Barclays Bank Zambia, we are delighted to have been involved with this Livingston Regatta as a mark of what ABSA promises to bring in the Zambian market. And this is the partnership in terms of how we want to support the different sectors of the Zambian economy. And so this is one way that we're supporting the tourism sector, because we believe that tourism is the future of Zambia. And with ABSA coming into Zambia, you can look forward to more partnerships, because we are building on the rich heritage, the 100-year heritage of buckets has set for us in Zambia. We understand the Zambian market, and with ABSA and with the sponsorship that you've seen, greater things lie ahead. And so Zambians can look forward to great things with ABSA.
Joseph Stali, the Vice Chairman of the Mukuni Market. As artists, we're always ready. And we know when we exhibit our products, of course, it will benefit us in one way or another. There is a target, especially to us artists, because people, they come from different parts of the country and also of the world. So depend of which country somebody comes from, and also we know what they need.
My name's Kaputo Kafuala. I'm the secretary for this market, and a lot of people come at the falls. And what they normally do, they just come to the falls, then they go without supporting us as stereo traders. The main challenge is that they are not given enough time for them to have time to shop. I think that's the only challenge that we face as stereo traders.
Parliament is open to members of the general public who may wish to undertake familiarization tours of Parliament buildings, either in groups or as individuals, or to attend sittings of the House or parliamentary committees. All those wishing to visit Parliament can either write to the Clerk of the National Assembly of Zambia or simply come to Parliament buildings. Upon arrival at Parliament buildings, visitors are required to identify themselves. A passport or national registration card is required for identification purposes. All visitors to parliamentary premises are required to wear smart attire, either office or casual wear. Before gaining access to the galleries, all visitors are oriented and issued with passes by the Security Department at the Media and Visitors Center. Those whom permission is granted to sit in the galleries will be ushered to the appropriate galleries by protocol officers. Furthermore, visitors are not allowed to take with them into the galleries such articles as walking sticks, umbrellas, briefcases or parcels of any type, newspapers, magazines or cell phones. All such articles must be deposited at the reception desk. Visitors to the galleries are given copies of the order paper which shows the order in which the business of that particular day would be taken. You can follow all parliamentary sessions and committee sittings on GoTV Channel 28, Topstar Channel 5, DSTV Channel 272, Parliament Radio, or like the National Assembly of Zambia Facebook page.
Thank you very much, Chair. My name is Makozo Chikote, Minister of Fisheries and Livestock. At this juncture, Chair, I will allow my staff to introduce themselves. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Good morning, Chair.
Morning.
Good morning, Honorable Members. My name is Engineer Himba Chelo. I'm the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock. Thank you.
Thank you, PS.
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, Honorable Members. My name is Dr. Charles Maseka. I'm the Acting Director of Veterinary Services.
Thank you, Director.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Honorable Members. My name is Mwambiro Kawemba. I'm Assistant Director, Livestock Development.
Thank you, Director.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Honorable Members. My name is Dr. Paul Fandam. I'm Assistant Director in the Department of Veterinary Services.
Thank you so much, Director.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the committee. My name is Kondwani Gondwe, and I'm here in the capacity of Parliamentary Liaison Officer.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, Sir Minister, as we are appearing before this committee and your team, you are protected under Captain Cover of the laws of Zambia that whatever information you're going to give before, not to submit before this committee, the information which you are going to give, you cannot even be tried to end courts of this law in this country. But Minister, should you decide and your team to mislead this committee, the same Captain Cover of the laws of Zambia can turn against you. But knowing so, especially this committee, this is committee which is almost a sister committee with your ministry, and I believe you cannot decide to mislead this committee. And this time around, Minister, we have a number of pertinent issues, but I don't know whether if you have a submission before you, we can allow you to make your submission. Thereafter, we are going to interrogate your submission, but we have got some salient issues which the committee discovered during the time of the long sitting. And this is what we would love us to engage with you and your team, so that as we are going to table this report on the floor of the House, we must move together, because what we don't want is to go on the floor of the House and start saying something else against what we are going to also present on the floor of the House. So we need to move together. We are supposed to end yesterday, the sittings were supposed to end yesterday, but we found it so difficult not to proceed, because there were very few challenges which the members of Parliament wanted credit. This is the reason why we have asked from Parliament, from the Speaker, for another day, so that we can wind up this report together, so that we can speak one voice. Otherwise, let me request you that you make your submission this time around, Minister. You can proceed.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you very much, honorable members of the committee, for this opportunity. Chair, in the first place, I would like to appreciate your flexibility as a committee, that you were able to find time for me to appear before the committee, because indeed I am aware that there was a date that was set for me to appear, but due to circumstances beyond control, I couldn't be able to come and appear before your committee. And I really appreciate the flexibility that has been exhibited.
Thank you.
Chair, having said that, I want to say thank you very much for according me this opportunity to appear before your committee to respond to some of the arising matters that you have been actually interacting with the other stakeholders and other witnesses before this committee in regard to our bill, which is Animal Identification and Traceability National Assembly Bill number 2 of 2024. Chair, you may wish to note that through your interaction with this committee, we will be able to bring some of the clarity on some of the issues that requires our clarifications. And indeed, this will lead us to move the bill to the next stage of the legislation. Chair, I am also aware that my team from the Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock appeared before this committee.
Chama. I'm a senior auditor, Provincial and Local Authority Directorate, Northwestern Province.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members of Parliament, and good morning, Ikerenge. My name is Jeffan Mukukasiame from the Control of Internal Audit.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Simon Munyama. I'm a Senior Planner, Office of the Auditor General.
Good morning, Honorable Chair and the Honorable Members of Parliament. Good morning, Ikerenge. I'm Edwin Sirimba from Ministry of Local Government and the Rural Development.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Honorable Members of Parliament. Good morning, Ikelenge Town Council. My name is Mlenga Bright from the Clerk's Office.
Good morning, Emmanuel Walia from the Office of the Clerk.
May I invite you now, Council Secretary, to introduce yourself. Allow your colleagues to do the same.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Joseph Nonde. I'm the Council Secretary.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Honorable Members. My name is Kayombo Mkazu, Internal Auditor, Irregular Town Council.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Honorable Members. My name is Aida Mleva Natasha from Irregular Town Council, District Planning Officer.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Honorable Members. My name is Sichila Inteme Chonga, Acting Director of Finance, Irregular Town Council. Thank you.
Good morning, Honorables. Good morning, Chair. My name is Msonda Mino, the Chief Administrative Officer for Irregular Town Council.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Honorable Members. My name is Samuel Masumbuko, the Director of Works for Irregular Town Council.
Honorable Members.
Chair, I'm grateful and good morning, Keleng. I'm Singombe Edgar, representing Dundumwes constituency, where Mr. Chila comes from. We are almost neighbors.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, and good morning, our permanent witnesses. Good morning, our Honorable Members of Parliament, my Honorable colleagues. Good morning, Irregular Council, and you are welcome to this committee. My name is Elliot Kamondo, Member of Parliament from Fumbwe constituency in Northwestern Province.
Chair, good morning. Good morning, fellow Members of Parliament. Good morning, permanent witnesses. Ikerenge, welcome and good morning. Mishek Mutetwa Nyambose, representing the fantastic people of Chasefu constituency in Eastern Province. Thank you very much.
Chair, thank you very much. Irregular Town Council. I'm Honorable Simumba Lucas, Member of Parliament for Nakonde. You are most welcome. Thank you.
Vice Chair. Vice Chair. Witness, my name is Mulunda Darius, Member of Parliament for Siavanga constituency, and I'm the chairperson for the committee appearing before this morning, the Committee on Local Government Accounts. Under Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia, witness, members of Parliament enjoy the immunity in the House, and the same is extended to you when you appear before any parliamentary committee. That whatever you say during our interaction will not be used against you. However, if you choose to mislead the committee, the same will be used against you. I have no doubt that you would not do that, and that you're going to give us the factual information this morning as we interact. And with that said, I want to invite you to make your submission before this committee.
Thank you, Chair. Our submissions are on paragraph 36 of the Auditor General's report and appendices 2, 15, 16, 24, 27, 32, and 34. The first item, Chair, is weakness in revenue collection and accounted for revenue. The management response, the cause of query, unaccounted for revenue amounting to 16,250. Action taken. We acknowledge the auditor's concern and wish to report that the amount in question has since been recovered from the officer and deposited into the appropriate bank account. There is reference to Appendix 1. Remedial measures. Management wishes to report that going forward, the general public is encouraged to make direct deposits to reduce on-cash interface with employees, since the district relies on banking facilities in the neighboring district of Mwinilunga. For the small daily collection, there is physical verification of the cash as it is being put in the safe before banking, which is now done twice in a week. Chair will proceed to cross-cutting issues. Appendix 2 on the budget, income and expenditure. Management response, cause of query, budget variance of 1,237,000 kwacha teningwe, and unspent funds of 309,345. Action taken. We acknowledge the auditor's concern and wish to state that the unspent amount were funds committed to ongoing capital projects, while the variance is the result of funds unrealized from plot premiums due to the change by central government of the initial plan for Jimbe border in light of the Rovito corridor project. We make reference to Appendix 2, Chair. Remedial measures. The Council will always seek guidance from the Provincial Planning Unit before budgeting for plot premium, since we are not yet a planning authority. The next item, Chair, is Appendix 15. Failure to fill vacant positions. Management response, cause of query. Failure to fill vacant positions. Action taken. We acknowledge the auditor's concern and wish to state that the position of registry clerk and grader operator have been filled, while recruitment for the positions of council police and general worker have just been approved by the ministry, and the recruitment is currently underway. For the positions of town planner and clerical officers, the recommendations have been sent to the Local Government Service Commission, and council is awaiting the response. Refer to Appendix 3. Remedial measure. Council submits vacancy reports and staff returns quarterly to the Local Government Service Commission. The next item, Chair, is Appendix 16. Failure to confirm staff. Management response. The cause of query. Failure to confirm staff. Action taken. We acknowledge the auditor's concern and wish to state that the recommendation for confirmation were made to the Local Government Service Commission, and all the officers have since been confirmed. We make reference to Appendix 4. Remedial measures. Council submits staff returns quarterly to the Local Government Service Commission. The next item, Chair, is Appendix 24. Failure to fence the dump site. Cause of query. Failure to fence the dump site. Action taken. We acknowledge the auditor's concern and wish to state that maybe the correction there, it's not supposed to be cabbage, it's garbage. Is being buried as the alternative recommendation by the auditors, while the council tries to mobilize resources to fence the dump site. We make reference to Appendix 5. The council shall endeavor to phase the construction of the boundary wall fence starting in 2024 as provided for in the budget. The next item, Chair, is Appendix 27. Failure to provide waste receptacle. The cause of query. Failure to provide waste receptacles. Action taken. We acknowledge the auditor's concern and wish to state that waste receptacles have been placed in all strategic areas of the Central Business District. We make reference to Appendix 6, Chair. Remedial measures. Management shall ensure that all strategic business places are provided with waste receptacles. Appendix 32, Chair, which is the next item, is failure to settle outstanding obligations, outstanding statutory obligations. management response and cause of query, failure to set outstanding statutory obligations. Action taken. We acknowledge the auditor's concern and wish to report that the local authority is up to date with the payment of arising statutory obligation as they fall due. However, the local authority has had financial challenges in respect of clearing prior years in respect of ZRA and NAPSA. That is the principal and the penalties that have accumulated. The remedial measure, the local authority has committed to be remitting statutory obligation as and when they fall due. The next item, Chair, is Appendix 34, failure to transfer equalization funds to capital account. Management response, cause of query, failure to transfer equalization funds to capital account. Action taken. We acknowledge the auditor's concern and management wish to report that the local authority transferred a total of 1,996,557 20 ngwe from the local government main account to the capital account in respect of the 20% capital component. We make reference to Appendix 7, Chair. The remedial measure, the local authority shall continue to transfer the 20% capital component from the main account to the appropriate account for capital projects. Chair, that ends our submission on Ikelengi.
Thank you very much. Honorable Singombe.
Chair, I'm very grateful. I just wanted to find out on page 2, failure to fill in vacant position. And I wanted to find out when the last time you followed up with the Local Government Commission for these positions that are not filled in yet at Ikelengi Local Authority. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Yutai.
Thank you, Chair. We follow up every quarter as we submit our returns, and that is why we have indicated there that the position of registry clerk has been filled up, and that of the grader operator. For the position of town planner and the clerical officer, this fell vacant after the one who was the town planner then was elevated to the position of the district planning office. But of course, we have submitted those quarterly. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Smumba.
Chair, for me, it's on page 1, unaccounted for revenue. Chair, as you know, Regulation 9 of the Public Finance Management requires that the head of accounting unit of a local authority to collect in a timely manner all the revenue and other public monies. Chair, contrary to the regulations, bidding fees in amounting to 16,250 were collected during the period under review, but could not be accounted for. In that those funds were neither banked nor was cash found. I'm interested, Chair, because action taken by the management, they are saying, we acknowledge the auditor's concerns and we wish to report that the amount in question has since been recovered from the officers. Chair, before the funds were recovered, I would want to find out what happened. Who are these officers who could not hand in, Chair, the monies, only the management to think of the alternative, starting recovering the money that was there? This committee, I'm sure, Chair, would want to know what really happened. Why are you recovering in the first place when the money was there? Does it mean the officers stole this money? Or what really happened? Chair, I submit.
Thank you. Is it? Yeah.
Yes, Honorable Chairperson. I would also want to find out, actually, the management has taken actually this measure by writing the the erring officer so that he can exculpate himself. I want to find out what other measures has the management taken to make sure that maybe this erring officer should be given a stiffer measure other than just recovering. And also, when he was written this letter, asking him actually to exculpate himself, did he do that? And if he did, do we have that letter to that effect?
Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. The unfortunate incident, Chair, involved actually the officer who manages the accountable documents and the receipt, the treasurer's receipt. The officer, what happened is that he went, his brother was involved in an accident and he abruptly left. He got permission, and then later on he applied for leave because he was still managing the patient. When his leave ended, which was the vacation, he never reported back for work, and then we took action, and as we are speaking, the officer has been recommended for dismissal. This incident happened last year, like if the records are showing. He only appeared this month. You have the letter? He only appeared this month to start explaining that he was indisposed, but we made all the necessary effort to contact him and his family. And in fact, he was apparently is a leader in the union, and even the union took up matters to try and get hold of him. But all that was in vain, and because of these disciplinary measures, we had to recover from his leave days, as can be seen from the records. And the officer, because he was away for almost a year now, and he has been recommended appropriately for dismissal to the Government Service Commission.
Thank you. Honorable Nyambose.
Chair, Council Secretary, someone personalizing institutional funds. Any revenues due to the council or to an institution is supposed to be surrendered, is it within 24 hours or 48 hours if it's retirement of interest? But this particular person, chairperson, got money for tender or bidding. These are fees that are known. The question is, do we have internal auditor here? Internal auditor, what role did you play to ensure that all people who collect monies that are due to the council surrender within 24 hours to the council? Second, you have articulated the processes that you took. The question from Honorable Kamondo and Simumba. What measures? Can you show this committee the charge letters for failure to surrender resources meant for the council? Second, Chairperson, disciplinary action does not take care, does not look at the status of someone. You have mentioned he was a union official. Could that be the reason why you allowed this person, against the regulations, you allowed this person to go and take care of the brother who was in an accident without any permission? Later on, this person came to the council after some months. Then that's when you gave that person a leave again for being away over a year. The deductions, Chair, were only effected only 1st of December 2023. It took a year for the council to take action. What does the local government administration regulation indicate, especially the disciplinary code, on any officer who is found erring or wanting? What actions did you take? Administrative officer or deputy council secretary or whoever was responsible treasurer, what actions did you take on this person upon realizing that he had taken money from the council which was supposed to be surrendered?
Council
I
Secretary.
submit.
Thank you, Chair. The officer was written to in July 2023. There is on Appendix 1. He was written to, but of course he was not available. And disciplinary action were commenced. I think the records, we have them, and culminating into his dismissal. But even as that was happening, already just when he didn't report, because he was supposed to have reported back from his leave in July, which he didn't, and hence this disciplinary that was done, his salary was frozen as per the condition of service, and the processes of trying to discipline him had commenced, as evidenced by this letter, which is in here. And I think the submission to the District Human Resource and Management Committee records are here, and the submission to the Local Government Service Commission. So we took action just when we noticed that. And the unfortunate part, which we concede, Chair, is that he was the one in charge of these funds as an officer. He was an assistant accountant. He was the one handling these funds. So when he left abruptly for his brother's mishap, it was a benefit of doubt, and we hoped that he would come back. I think he just asked for a week. And then later on, this is how these other things now developed.
Thank you very much. It's fine. We are ending our interaction with Kering. We want to proceed with, just get your follow-up, Honorable Nyambosa, and your follow-up, then we are ending it.
Chair, the letter that was written by the treasurer, acting treasurer, in July 2023, Council Secretary, it has no reference to any breach of any guidelines or law or disciplinary code. For me, I would term it a love letter, where you are asking someone, we are appealing to you to account for the money. In July, when it was 7 months after the year under review, is it lack of capacity on behalf of those who are supposed to write? Because the knowledge that I have, the information, you are supposed to quote a particular breach, either in the disciplinary code or terms and the conditions of service or any law that you are writing to this person. And hence he had no time to respond to this letter, because you are merely appealing to this person to account for this money. Why did it take so long? According to the terms and conditions of service, one who absconds himself or herself for more than 10 days, consecutive days, is instant dismissal. He got permission, verbal permission, because we don't have any information. Then he came back, again he went for good. Why didn't you invoke the terms and conditions of service and disciplinary code in this particular case, than waiting for a year, and even now he has just gone away? Why?
Thank you. Honorable Simumba.
Chair, I think for me is the next one, or next question on page 5, that the council borrowed some funds from the capital account. I wanted to find out if they sought authority from the Minister of Local Government. Chair, submit.
Thank you. CS, those two questions.
Thank you, Chair. The disciplinary code were evoked, and The process has been concluded. The recommendation has been made to the Local Government Service Commission to have the officer discharged. I think the correspondence you have.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you very much, Honorable Members of Parliament. As soon as the officer was noticed that he was absconding work for more than 10 days, the supervisor, in this case who happens to be the council treasurer, wrote to him reminding him that he needs to report back for work. Unfortunately, he could not report back for work, so the supervisor had to write to the responsible officer for further action. And from there, the responsible officer directed the Human Resource Management Committee Secretariat to invoke the provisions of the condition of service. And that's how we invoke the provisions of the conditions of service. We had the first sitting. We wrote to the officer requesting him to come and exculpate himself why he's been absent. Unfortunately, the officer did not show up. We even wrote to the next of kin using the vital statistics that were in his personal file to ask the next of kin to talk to the officer to present himself before the committee, but the officer did not avail himself. Therefore, looking at, after all those procedures were exhausted, we were left with no option but to recommend that this person be dismissed. I would say that all the disciplinary procedures were followed as we handled this matter.
Thank you. Second question.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, the council did borrow the 1,376,9 kwacha, and so far we have paid back.
No, the question was, did you get authority? I think that was the question. To use that money.
No, Chair, the authority was not obtained from the ministry.
But by regulation, are you supposed to seek authority, or you can just use the 20%?
Chair, we were supposed to seek authority from the ministry, but we were catering for an inescapable, particularly salaries for the workers, and that this is an accumulated figure for the borrowed monthly amounts. It's an admission, Chair, that yes, we did not seek authority.
Even when you want to pay salaries, you would rather delay, but sought the permission from the ministry. All right, Ikeleng, we appreciate your appearance, and there are gaps, I know, in your report. You need to work on those gaps as a team, and you need to make sure that you put your house in order. At this point, let me withdraw the immunity that was conferred on you and allow you to travel back to Ikeleng. Thank you very much. You are free to leave.
Thank you very much, Chair. And we are guided.
My name is Newton Samakai. I was born in 1963 in Chief in Tambu. By the way, that is what is on my reg. And I went and grew up in Chief Kanyama, where I did my primary school. My father is late, Edward Makana Samakai. My mother is Kandesi Masumba. She's still living. She's in Mwinlunga. And like I said, I did my primary school in Chief Kanyama. Then from there.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chairperson. Good afternoon, Honorable Members of Parliament. Good afternoon, Kalumbila team. My name is Katongo Chama. I'm a senior auditor under Provincial and Local Authorities Directorate for Northwestern.
Good afternoon, Chair, and good afternoon, Honorable Members of Parliament, and good afternoon, Kalumbila. My name is Jeffan Siame from the Controller of Internal Audit.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Simon Munyama. I'm a Senior Planner, Office of the Auditor General.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mumbasaka from the Ministry of Finance and National Planning, Office of the Accountant General. Thank you.
Honorable members, Mulenga Bright from the Office of the Clerk.
Good afternoon, Emmanuel Walia from the Office of the Clerk.
Thank you. Let me invite you, Council Secretary, to introduce yourself and kindly allow your colleagues to listen.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair, and good afternoon, Honorable Members of Parliament. My name is Wamnyima Mombali, the Council Secretary.
Thank you. Now use the other mic. Not that one, the other one, yes. Switch off your mic, Council Secretary.
Good afternoon, Chair, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Singwa Lawrence, Director of Finance.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members of the committee. Good afternoon, other distinguished members who are around. My beautiful name is Zulu Joseph. I'm Director Planning, Kalumbila Town Council.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members. My name is Natasha Mlenga, Director of Engineering.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, members of the committee. My name is Elvis Amachila, Procurement Officer, Kalumbila Town Council.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, member of committee and the witnesses. My name is Lena Chinula, Chief Accountant.
Chair, good afternoon. I'm Singombe Edgar.
Sorry.
There's two people.
Yeah, we
Okay,
still
sorry.
have officers behind. Walk up to my, yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Angel Gabriel Mtapa. I'm the Assistant Internal Auditor for Kalumbila Town Council.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, members of the Parliament. My name is Kelvin Santobo, Community Development Officer from Kalumbila.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, members of Parliament. My name is Mandawe Morris. I'm Chief Human Resource Officer from Kalumbila Town Council.
Thank you. Honorable members, Honorable Singombe.
Chair, I'm very grateful and good afternoon. Sorry. Kalumbila, I'm Singombe Edgar from Dundumans. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, and good afternoon, Honorable colleagues. Good afternoon, our permanent witnesses. And good afternoon, Kalumbila Town Council. You are welcome to this committee. My name is Elliot Kamondo, a Member of Parliament from Fumbwe constituency in Northwestern Province.
Afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, Kalumbila Town Council. I'm Honorable Dr. Aaron Mwanza, Member of Parliament for Kaumbwe constituency, Petaoke district of the Eastern Province. You're welcome to your committee. Thank you.
Afternoon, Chair. Thank you. Kalumbila, you are welcome. Allow me borrow what I've heard. My beautiful name is Mutelo Misheki, MP for Mitete constituency. You are welcome, Kalumbila.
Afternoon, Chair. Afternoon, our permanent witnesses. Good afternoon, our viewers and the listeners out there. Afternoon, Kalumbila Town Council. This is Luhamba Mwene, Member of Parliament for Mangango constituency in Western Province, Kaoma District. You are welcome.
Chair, thank you very much, and Kalumbila, you are most welcome to your lovely committee. I'm Honorable Smumba Lucas, Member of Parliament for Nakonde. You are most welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair. Kalumbila, my name is Mulunda Darius, Member of Parliament for Siavonga constituency, and I'm the chairperson for the Committee on Local Government Accounts. Witness, members enjoy the immunity under Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia, and the same is extended to you when you appear before any parliamentary committee, that whatever you say during our interaction will not be used against you. However, if you choose to mislead us, misleading the committee, the same Cap 12 will be used against you. I have no doubt in my mind that you wouldn't do that, and that you are going to give us factual information. This afternoon, the information that will help us draft a very good report. With that said, I will now invite you, Council Secretary, to make your submission. But just before you do that, Honorable Nyambose, introductions.
Thank you, Chair. Kalumbila, welcome. Mishek Mtetwa Nyambose, representing the people of Chasefu constituency. Thank you.
You may proceed, Council Secretary.
Chairperson, before I proceed, Chair, I would like to request...
Just put the mic towards yourself, or you can move your chair. Yes, go ahead.
Yes. I would like to, if it's possible, I can present some supplementary evidence that was found after we have submitted our report, if it's fits so, maybe which could also be helpful, just about a few documents that will be needed maybe for reference as well.
Is it an appendix or what? Please.
It's some of the appendix.
Okay, yeah. Yes. Do you have enough copies?
Yes, I think they will. Yes.
Okay. Okay, meantime you can proceed.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. Memorandum submission to the Parliamentary Committee on Accounts of Local Authorities for the audit of Kalumbila Town Council cited in the Auditor General's report, operation account for the financial year ended 31st December 2022. First,
CS, maybe before you go, honorable members, it looks like these are CDF projects. What you have submitted?
No.
Or they are not under CDF?
It's not. It's what?
Because it's what development
Yes, what
fund.
development, yes, fund.
Because no. What development fund. All right, please proceed.
Thank you. Query number 1. Cause of query: failure to collect revenue from mining access fees. Action taken: management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to state that the mining access fee are not prescribed under the Act of Parliament. This would entail that Kalumbila Town Council can only legally impose the said mining access fee if there is any enacted bylaws in place, or to do otherwise would be illegality. Management recommended to the council that bylaws or council resolution is passed to enable institutions to collect mining access fee to the would-be explorers. Remedial measure: reference also is made to Appendix 1 in terms of the remedial measures. Management will ensure that all rates, levies, charges, tariffs, fees, tolls, and duties are collected. Query number 2, irregular offer of plots. Cause of query: irregular offer of plots. Action taken: management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to report that the institution has since started recovering the said funds through the payroll for employees who were transferred and the officers who were communicated to, and the recoveries were done from their respective leave days, as seen in Appendix 2. Remedial measure: management will adhere to the circular minute number MLG/12/8/2, should be 2, require that the civic leaders and local authorities employee be treated on equal terms and conditions with any other person of the public applying for plots. Query number 3, cause of query: irregular charge of VAT, value added tax. Action taken: management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to report to that the council has since deducted on final payments for all contractors who were erroneously paid VAT despite not being registered. As for contractors without running projects, formal communication was made to refund VAT which was erroneously paid, as seen in Appendix 3. Remedial measure: management will make it a requirement for contractors to submit their tax registration certificates during the bidding process, as opposed to tax clearance only. Query number 4, cause of query: delay completion of projects. Action taken: management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to state that the project in question was delayed as the contractor failed to complete the project within stipulated contract period. Despite the extension and warning letter, the contractor did not complete the works. The contract was terminated and given to a new contractor who has since moved in on the site, as seen in Appendix 4. Remedial measure: management shall ensure close supervision of works and to expedite the completion of the project as per contract. Query number 5, cause of query: inclusion of anti-clearance in the BOQ. Action taken: Management acknowledges the concern of the auditor and wishes to state that the officer erred by including until in the Bill of Quantity, and the responsible officer has since been charged, as seen in the Appendix 4. Remedial measure: management to ensure that the officers responsible in preparation of the BOQ will take note of the specification on site at the time of field appraisal. Query number 6, cause of query: delayed completion of the project. Action taken: management acknowledged the auditor's observation and wishes to state the project in question was delayed as the contractor failed to complete the project within stipulated contract period. Despite the extension and warning letter, the contractor did not complete the works. The contract was terminated and given to a new contractor who was since moved in and mobilized, as seen in Appendix 5. Remedial measure: management to ensure close supervision of works and to expedite the completion of the project as per contract. Query number 7, cause of query: inclusion.
The inclusion of until
And
clearance.
until
That is page 9, page 10, you have the same thing.
inclusion of until clearance in the BOQ. Management acknowledges the concern of the auditor and wishes to state that
is
the
a
officer.
repetition. It's a repetition. Go to number 4. Number 4, page 10. Construction of a clinic at Kisasa Ward.
Okay. That is query number 8, delay completion of project. Management acknowledged the auditor's observation and wish to state that the completion in the project in question was delayed as the contractor failed to complete the project within stipulated contract period. The project has since been completed, as seen in Appendix 6. Remedial measures: management shall ensure close supervision of works and to expedite the completion of project as per contract. Query number 9, inclusion of
I don't know how many NTUs we meet today.
It's supposed, I think, to read opening access road. It was also until, inclusion of until on the same project. This is a different project. Until and opening access on the road.
But even on page 12, it's the same.
Yes. Management acknowledges the concern of the auditor and wish to state that the officer erred by including until in the BOQs, and the responsible officer has since been charged. Management acknowledges the concern of the auditor and wishes to state that during the time of audit, the road was not fully open, and the road has since been opened, as seen in Appendix 6. Remedial measure: management ensure that the officers responsible in the preparation of the BOQ will take note of the specification on site at the time of appraisal. Cross-cutting issues. Cause of query: failure to
should always highlight the query. Before you go to the cause of query, should highlight there the query starts failure to collect revenue.
Yes.
That's when you go there.
Okay.
Cause of query.
Query: failure to collect revenue. Cause of query: failure to collect revenue. Action taken: management acknowledged the auditor's observation and wishes to report that on 2nd June 2022, the District Commission's office was given the tenant agreement. Despite several engagements with the District Commission's office, there has been no response. The council has since been also collecting the petroleum storage fee according to the volume of liters, as seen in Appendix 7. Remedial measure: going forward, the council acquired the petroleum storage license booklet from the government printers to help with the certification and record keeping. With regard to the rental from the office occupied by the District Commissioner, if no response is given by the month end of April 2024, the occupant may be evicted. Query, missing payment voucher. Cause of query, missing payment vouchers. Management acknowledged the auditor's observation. Kindly note that the payment vouchers in question were misplaced during the process of shifting from the old civic center to the new civic center, as seen in Appendix 8. Remedial measure, management has installed a new system that will help regenerate payment voucher. Management will also ensure that all necessary filing of the payment vouchers and other relevant documents is done accordingly, and the supervisor checks on them on regular basis. Query, overemployment of staff. Cause of query, overemployment of staff. Action taken. Management would like to acknowledge the auditor's observation and wishes to report that the position were filled depending on the need of the council and the availability of funds. Kalumbila Town Council requested the Local Government Service Commission for the staff in order to improve the efficiency, effectiveness of service delivery to the community. The Local Government Service Commission responded by employing the officers. For the position of the excess fire officers, which were cited by the auditors, the Local Government Service Commission transferred 4 firefighters from Kalumbila Town Council to Chipata Town Council on 5th January 2023, as seen in the Appendix 9. Remedial measure. Going forward, management to ensure that appointments, promotion are done accordingly to the approved establishment. For abolished, retitled, upgraded position, a report was submitted to the Local Government Service Commission in order to align the officers according to the approved town council structures. Query, lack of title deeds. Cause of query, lack of title deeds. Action taken. Management has acknowledged the auditor's observation. Kindly note that the process of ensuring that all the assets are put on title has been initiated, as seen in Appendix 10. Remedial measure. Management to ensure that all council properties are put on titles. Query, fencing of dump site and unsorted waste. Cause of query, fencing of dump site and unsorted waste. Action taken. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's observation. Management has embarked on the process of purchasing land that is within 100 meters on which the dump site is located to avoid any potential disputes. Management also has procured the skipping that will be used to facilitate sorting of waste at various collecting points, as seen in Appendix 11. Remedial measure. Management will ensure continued sensitization of the marketeers, communities, and general public to dispose waste in right respective course at a source. Chair, I believe I've come to the end of the report.
Honorable Kamondo, Honorable Simomba, and Honorable Nyambosa.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
One question each.
Yes, I'll ask one question, but it's a question which is found in about 3 projects, but it's the same question. My question, number 1, is that we have been actually told in this report of an inclusion of an anthill in 3 sites, and which management observed very well, which you also wrote the hearing officer. However, this officer, in his response, he has acknowledged and has defended himself that the inclusion of these anthill didn't inflate the price for these projects. But the auditors, I'll just pick one, on page 12. Just page 12, the first paragraph. Among the works included in the BOQ was the opening of the access road to the site and the clearing of the 3 anthill at a cost of 90,000 and 11,400 respectively. However, a physical inspection of the project revealed that there was no opening up to the road but clearing of shrubs, and there was no anthill there were no anthills that were demolished on the site. Which also, I want to find out from management, when you wrote this letter to this hearing officer, were you also convinced that there were no anthills? And if you were convinced, from the letter which you have just submitted today, where the officer is refusing, saying that I acknowledge the charge of including the anthills clearance in the bills of quantities for the project, despite not having anthills on site. The description of the bills of quantities erroneously included the clearance of anthills when it was supposed to read clearance of site free from obstacles in preparing for excavation and provision of access to the site, including the clearing of possible anthills. According to me, he goes on, says the description of the anthills did not raise the cost of projects as the respective costs were for clearing of the sites and obstacles. According to this gentleman, he is still saying no. The charge that you gave him actually was not correct, but you charged him. What is your position as a council? Did this gentleman err by including the anthills, or he didn't? And what is the position that you are going to take going forward?
Thank you, Chair. As you have seen, there are 2 projects that was indicated, especially anthill. There's where there's anthill and there's where access road. There's where, especially the Kisasa Clinic, where there's also anthill and clearance of the road, access road. There we verified that there was no anthill on the road to clear, because when there's anthill, you can see the soil that has been removed. Everyone on the site, when went on the site, there was no anthill that was there. So for the other charge on that other one is still continuous, because we have proved that that anthill we mentioned there was not there, which was costing, although it was together with opening of access road and the anthill. So the charge he has calculated, and we are still looking to ensure that there was one where he stated the other one that yes, he erred by putting that was clearing, and the amount which was shown was 3,000 for clearance of the land. But there's where now where there was anthill on the road, where to remove the anthill you have to hire maybe a front-end loader or a bulldozer. That one, Chair, we are still also following the same issue to ensure that the officer in charge, the officer responsible, at the end of the when the committee sits, there will be the charge that will be slapped on there. It's either when they will sit the committee, because actually most of this officer falls under the local government commission, not the human resource, which sometimes we deal with them locally at the center. So we'll do the recommendation, because it has really stated, like in the area where it stated that it never inflected the cost. But on the other project, you could see that it was 90. That was a huge sum of money.
Honorable Smumba.
Chair, for me, my question is on page 13, missing payment vouchers. Contrary to the regulation, I need to be collected. Is it 335 or 208 payment vouchers? Because, Chair, in words, there is 335, and in brackets on page 13, 208. So we need maybe to before I ask, we need to be collected. Which
the correct statement, Council Secretary?
It was 208, Chair.
Okay.
208 vouchers, which was it's a box file, a complete box.
Okay, so Chair, these payment vouchers, according to the management, they have resurfaced. They were not there when the auditors went to audit, and the reason they are giving is they were misplaced during the process of shifting from the old civic center to the new premises. Chair, you note that this is the common reason that all the councils are giving when they are coming before this committee. It's like every council, Chair, they have built new civic centers and they are shifting. Having said that, when we are directed to go and check on Appendix 8, Chair, I thought I will find these vouchers, but instead, when you go to Appendix 8, I've found a ledger. Maybe I need to be collected by the Council Secretary. These vouchers, or is it just a ledger of how you spent the money? Chair, submit.
Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, they are not, the physical vouchers are not attached to the appendix. We felt that by reduplicating those vouchers to the member of the committee, it would be a huge cost. We thought maybe we summarize.
It would be a huge cost to whom?
Not really the huge cost. Maybe because it's like to a two big box file that we miss where those vouchers were.
But what the auditors wanted to see were the vouchers, and this is what was missing.
However, we've carried the box file.
Pardon?
So, Chair, you may forgive me. The officer is going to collect them, the box file. Maybe they can circulate, move around, if allowed. So.
Yeah, because my colleague is following what the auditors were looking for.
Yes.
They are not looking for the ledger, they are looking for the payment vouchers.
All right.
Which you didn't attach. Instead, you answered something else. You attached something else.
Okay.
Next question as we wait for that. Honorable Nyambosi.
Chair, my question is on page 3. Irregular offer of plots. Contrary to the guidance and circular from the Ministry of Local Government, the Council decided to offer themselves at a discounted amount plots to officers. The question is, Council Secretary, why did you ignore the guidance? Don't you see this as abuse of office? When you ignore, you get to offer plots to yourselves as officers at a discounted price. Chair, I want to refer to Appendix 2, the committee to Appendix 2.
Appendix 2.
Appendix 2, Chair. After the auditors raised the matter, they have since written to the affected officers to refund if you look at the letters that the council has written, they are dated 2nd January 2024. This matter was highlighted or occurred in 2022, Council Secretary. Why did it take you long until 2024 before you knew that you were appearing before this committee? That is when you decided to write these letters. Was it just to blindfold this committee, or you really mean that you are recovering these monies? Chair, why do I say so? Some of the officers have since been transferred and they have attached pay slips. What they have attached, the numbers are not tallying to the officers who indulged themselves to this. The question is, why did you go against the guidance of the ministry? The ministry is in charge of your management, but you can ignore them and give yourself discounted prices contrary to what the public is giving.
Council Secretary, please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Well, we acknowledge that we erred in terms of offering plots at a 10%, abrogating the circular that was there. However, we are trying by all means to correct the mistake.
But, Council Secretary, my colleague is asking, the issue happened, this is a 2022 audit query. And if you are saying you are trying by all means to correct the situation, you have only done that this year. The whole of 2023, you are not doing that. The first thing is you ignored the circular which came into your office. And without guiding the management that you have that circular and you cannot do that, you went ahead and auditors came and raised the same issue. That was when you were audited.
2020, April 2023. April 2023.
When you were audited?
Should be April 20.
No one is able to remember management.
April 2023.
April 2023.
Yes.
And the auditors, I'm following the sequence.
Okay.
That we are auditing 2022, and you received this circular, whether it was 2022 or before, that indicates that you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to get a discount, and you went ahead, you did that. In April, auditors came, they raised the issue, and you're fully aware that, yes, you have been found wanting. Then you keep quiet up to January 2024. That's when you are writing. That's when you are taking action. According to us, that's when you are taking action. Now, my colleague is concerned with the period, with the time that it has taken for you to react or to take measures on something that you did wrong. So why did it take you all that long? That's the question from one of the members. You have an addition?
Yeah, Chair, I just wanted to also emphasize the point that the sale of plots in Kalumbila, I'm sure it was meant to provide goods and services in Kalumbila. And surely the officers of the council decided to give themselves a discount, denying the community in Kalumbila getting these goods and services, these colleagues are transferable. They are transferable, meaning that they've not added value to Kalumbila. Chair, I really wanted them to be candid in this matter. How many plots were given to them, and how are they recovering the money? Because this money is supposed to go into the safe delivery of Kalumbila District Council.
Council Secretary, the ordinary people of Kalumbila, the people that you are saving, are unable to buy plots. The management or members of staff are able to buy, and then they can even resell to the members of the public. But those that are supposed to own land and have houses, build houses, they are unable because the price is high. So maybe you can make a comment.
Thank you, Chair.
You can ask, what's the position of the madam here? What's her position? Director Engineering. You can help, actually. You can ask her to help you because I've seen her. She's giving you pieces, so she can respond.
Yes, I wanted to also to request
no,
that
please, go ahead.
Then Director Planning elaborate also more.
Okay.
To add on to.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Director Planning, switch off your mic, yes.
Thank you, Chair. It is true, Chair, this is alarming to have a situation like this. First of all, I would like to make sure the House is up to speed with when this happened. These plots were offered in 2020. But the auditors were able to catch it in 2022. And why did we take a bit long to start recovering? We had a challenge to collect the actual payments because some had claimed they had paid. So we had to verify through the books to check who had actually paid. I think we only found one or two who had actually paid in full. And from the time we had the circular, we have not offered plots at a discounted rate. The only plots we offered this year, any council employee who applied for had only to pay in full like any other members of the public. Like you have mentioned, your committee has mentioned, Chair, it is a source of revenue and it can actually cause us not to be able to effectively provide service once we charge at a discounted rate, where the ministry guided that that is not supposed to be the case. So unfortunately this had happened earlier and we just came in to try and correct the situation.
Thank you very much. Director Planning, is it your position that the delayment was caused by you checking, verifying for the whole year? Is that your position?
Chair, because after we were given the list of the officers, we needed to verify with finance.
I appreciate that. Now, my question is, are you attributing that one to the delayment that the committee has noticed, that you have delayed in reacting? Was it because you are still verifying the whole year?
Chair, would take the blame on that one, yes.
Chair, I want to find out from the DPO, what was the, is it the mode of payment by the said officers? Was it cash or in kind?
Chair, the receipts were showing that they were paying cash, but it was at a discounted rate, so it was very possible for them to pay cash.
Chair, why I asked that question is that if they were paying cash and receipt books were there, why did it take you 1 year to verify who paid, who had not paid? As the chair has asked, I was coming to what the chair has asked. Why does it take you so long a period to verify that to a point where some have already moved to other councils?
Additional, Honorable?
Chair, yes, in addition, I wanted to find out why did you give them on a special offer? What's the difference that you can tell, that the difference between the council officers and those ordinary members of Kalumbila is this? We want to know why were those given at a special amount. Chair, submit.
Was there a special reason? Yes.
Thank you, Chair. I think initially...
Honorable Shakafuswa.
Yes, Chair, Honorable Shakafuswa, Member of Parliament from Mandela. Chair, I'm just getting worried. Is our committee going to continue to tolerate officers that fail to adhere to regulations, only to come here and to regret and not own up? Are we going to continue to receive this regret from the CEO of the local authority who's failing to act? I submit, Chair.
Thank you very much. Certainly not. Our recommendation will not go that route. Yes, continue.
Yes, Chair. Referring to what the Honorable is saying, I think earlier or before the circular that came in force, I think you realize that some of the council were discounting the plots. Like I think any
Sorry, don't use that.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe
there are some
umpteen
of other councils.
Okay.
We are dealing with Kalumbila,
yes.
so we want to know why Kalumbila is doing that.
Okay.
Yes, you can continue.
Yes, before the effect of that circular, there was that, I think if I need to find out if there was a resolution normally that comes where offer of plots were at 10%. But that offer of 10% was corrected because at that time, back before the circular, there was that instance where people, officers were getting plots.
So now, when you speak like that, yes, you are justifying that what happened was okay. At the same time, we are charging the officers that got legally, according to you, legally the plots at 10% discount. So which is your stand now?
Yes, Chair. Thank you, Chair. What happens is, despite they were offered at 10%, they did not pay at the time that the 10% before the circular. They decided to come and pay some of them later on, which by that time, the circular was in force.
But how do you charge someone that you offered yesterday? You gave that person the plot yesterday, and of course, the condition was that he was going to pay at the discounted. And today, because the dollar is up, we want to charge that person at a new price. Is that fair? Honorable Simon.
Chair, legally, you cannot make an offer and then someone accepts the offer and transactions takes place.
Completely.
Then you want to go back and say, no, you're supposed to. No, there is no such a thing. Maybe, Chair, I wanted to know if we have officers here who are in that predicament. Yeah, because I see that she's not coming out clearly. Maybe you are one of those who got those offers. Because for me, I don't see anything wrong. If an offer has been given and accepted, legally you cannot reverse it.
Yeah, you can't.
Unless you want to take advantage of the ignorance of the officers. Otherwise, for me, that was a very serious omission on the part of management.
Chair, just to agree with what Honorable says, my suspicion when I looked at, I really interrogated the pay slips and the letters. I realized that those were just done for the purpose of this committee. They don't mean that they are deducting and this money will be recovered. It just came to show this committee. And it brings back to what Honorable Shakafuswa has indicated. It's regrettable, Chair, that people would mess up and they'll just say, we are sorry, we regret, we'll move on. I know we are going to meet the employer. Chair, this leads me to the next question. Irregular charge of VAT, irregular charge of value-added tax. If you see what happens, I start looking at the officials. Irregular. In this process of project management, do we have competent officers amongst yourselves who is handy to give legal advice. DPO, you are involved. Procurement, you are involved. Treasurer, you are involved. Council Secretary, you are involved. Director Engineer, you are involved. When you are doing all these things, but you charge, no one understands who is supposed to be charged the VAT, who is supposed to pay VAT. Such you regret monies were paid, and you are telling this committee with your attachment that no, we are busy collecting these. Me, I get worried. The council is a combination of qualified personnel in different fields who is supposed to guide each other. What happened about this VAT, Director Engineering and Planner and Treasurer, for you to fail to realize that you were not supposed to effect the VAT as it was done? Council Secretary, the chairperson, I submit.
Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, on that one, in the initial, when projects are started, actually even from advertising to the point of offer, when we advertise a project, we request the contractor for tax clearance. And when they bring tax clearance, most of the time does not show whether it just entails tax clearance. It was one of the requirements that we made so that all the contractors have that tax clearance. But we discovered that tax clearance on its own does not give us more details whether the contractor is registered until when we engage the ZRA to give
But how is your checklist? The checklist on the contractors.
Yes,
what
Chair.
important documents are you supposed to be looking at?
Yes, Chair. The checklist has always been tax clearance.
Just tax clearance?
Yes. We've realized that tax clearance is not giving us a lot of details. Henceforward, we request every contractor to give us tax registration certificate. That will give us more details. Either the contractor has registered with turnover tax or VAT. That will give us that, because we're relying on tax clearance, which was not giving us details. And also on ZRA, sometimes it was very difficult when you search on that one to get the more information. Even the report they've given us, you find that I think we attached something where it's showing, sometimes showing no tax at all, but it's showing a contractor having either 2 registration certificates, TOT or VAT. So to get more details, we needed to really engage the ZRA, which we have seen that from now onwards, we will not rely on tax clearance like we did, but we use also the tax registration.
So I started. Chair, VAT is usually claimed. That's the basic knowledge I have. What was your basis of paying VAT? Did these people claim? And if they claimed, these contractors, you didn't look at, you didn't see their VAT registration. And what were they claiming for you to pay? This is the first time I've been sitting on this. Since I was elected, I was favored or privileged to be on this committee. And the chair, I'm seeing the first time a council that has done what they have done. It's quite strange. That's why the first thing I said is I look at the combination of competences. Usually the Local Government Service Commission will assemble people with qualifications and some knowledge. If they meet, usually, Chair, if they meet, who guided the other to do what they did, contrary to what they went to ZRA later on, after paying. So, what was the basis of you to start paying this VAT, Council Secretary?
Chair, this VAT, for the company to be paid VAT, it means he has to be VAT registered. Now, the management paid these companies even when they were not VAT registered. So I would want to find out, at what time did you realize? Because for you to prepare this chair VAT detains, payment, you were bearing on something. Where were you basing your payment of VAT to these companies that were not VAT registered? Where are you basing your payment on that we can pay back these companies? Chair, I submit.
Secretary. Sorry, before you come in, Auditor General's office.
Chair, government appointed ministries, agents, and spending agencies, and of these you have some councils. So unless Kalumbila is not one of the agents for ZRA to collect tax, otherwise they are not even supposed to pay the tax. They withhold and then pay on behalf, they pay directly to ZRA. So there was no need for the council to pay the tax component to the contractors. They were supposed to withhold the tax and pay it directly to ZRA, unless Kalumbila is not an agent. Otherwise, that's what should have happened.
Council Secretary, are you an agent of ZRA?
Yes, I think we became an agent this year, where we finalized with, is it this year or last year? Last year, at almost the end of the 2023, where we finalized with ZRA now.
Okay, that is clear. But the first question from Honorable Sumumba, that even when you are doing that, there was supposed to be some document to back your reasoning that we can pay VAT, because there is this document other than the tax clearance certificate. And this person is registered because there is this certificate is registered. So what was the basis of doing that?
Thank you, Chair. One of the basis of paying was through the IPCs that
No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the VAT component, because you can pay everything, but the VAT component. How did you arrive at that when there is no document that actually confirms that this person is registered, is VAT registered?
Like I said, Chair, with the first one where I said, initially we're relying on the tax clearance certificate.
No, but you, CS or principal officer, you know that tax clearance and the VAT registration, these are two certificates. So can somebody be employed on your behalf using your certificate? That one has their own certificate and your certificate.
That's true.
So when you go for interviews, you can't say, I rely on my colleague that has a certificate. You wouldn't do that. So
just a short one, on a lighter note. The deductions from the plots, someone has just sent a message, they're watching. Deductions from the plot were effected without warning them, without informing these officers. Just I wanted to show you what type of management that is there at Kalumbila. So I have a message I'll share to you.
So Kalumbila, and I'm still looking at it, the guide, the circular that came was dated 28th September 2020. 2020, that's a long time ago. So you cannot say no, maybe because what, even at that time the circular was there. September 2020, 2021, 2022, up to 2024. You want to refute that? Go ahead, planning officer.
No, Chair, I don't want to refute. I just want to confirm that the plots were offered in 2020
yes.
and 2019. So it was prior to the circular. But they were not offered in 2022. We had not offered any plots from 2022 until this year.
So now, if you offered somebody in 2019 or 2020, why do you want to charge somebody in 2024? Why do you want to do that? And is it true that did you write to these people that you are charging you? or we are deducting? Did you do that? Did you inform the people that you are deducting the monies from? Did you inform them?
Chair,
Yes.
administration wrote to all the officers letters of notification that the deductions will be effected.
Do you have one of them, one of the letters?
Oh, one of the letters. You have appendix what?
Appendix what?
The same appendix, Chair, where they wrote on the 1st January 2023.
1st January? 2024.
To help you, Chair. CS, good management practices, what the Chair is asking about, and this committee was supposed to, as Honorable Singombe indicated, this thing happened before the circular, as purported by the DPO. Why charge someone? Now, why did you wait after? Okay, let's take it that after audit, this matter was highlighted. Now, if it was highlighted after audit, why did it take a year up to January? Then you have effect deductions from officers. You wrote on 1st January. Here is appendix I referred to. Is it 3?
2nd January 2024.
Yes.
Is it?
Is appendix 8 or appendix should be 8? We have seen it. We have read all these documents. Why?
Appendix 2.
Good management practices. Why did you take such actions? The questions here that are coming, they're pointing to how you are working, your competences. Looking at VAT, it has never happened in any council. You are doing it in Kalumbila. Is it because you have too much money? Then you looking at also this issue of plots. Good management practices. You look at, you can't charge someone in retrospect. You look at when did this matter happen. Initially, when the chair asked, you said 2020. Then you are interrogated further, you have included 2018. When we proceed on this matter, you include 2018, you say 2018. You are not showing this seriousness to this committee. These are pointing to your competences and what type of management you have in Kalumbila. I wanted to help you, Chair.
So if we go down and find out in 2020, you said they were offered in 2020. You have the minutes.
Yes.
You have the minutes of the offer of these plots.
We didn't carry them, Chair, but we can provide them.
You didn't carry them?
No, Chair, but
Yes.
we can provide them, Chair.
Honorable Commander, Honorable Simumba.
Mine actually is now. I thought maybe we can move on.
Yes, you can.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
I want to take you to page 2.
Sorry, Honorable Manzi.
Sorry.
Page 2?
Yes. Honorable Nyambose has, I'm sure it was on a lighter note when he said that maybe Kalumbila is because they have a lot of money. On page 2, there is a failure to collect revenue from mining access fees. When you look at this one, in the response that has been given by management, they are saying that no act of parliament gives them actually the mandate to collect. However,
that's the response from the council, right?
Yes, from the council. However, they are also saying they can still come up with bylaws as a council themselves to allow them to collect the money. Now, this was highlighted by the auditors, who knew very well that Kalumbila Council should have come up with the bylaws to allow them actually to collect this money, and hence actually this audit query. So now, if I may ask a question, what have you done so far when all the powers are vested into yourselves to come up with bylaws and you collect this money? How far have you gone to form these bylaws so that you're able to collect this money despite actually Kalumbila having so much money?
You're asking one question.
Yes, sir. Do you, as Kalumbila for now, collecting or having money coming from the mines? Yes or no? If you do, how are you getting that money?
Council Secretary.
Thank you very much. The only money that we are collecting from the mines now is just property rates.
Property rates.
Yes.
You are not supposed to be collecting any other money.
The other money which is mentioned in the auditor report, what we have done is, because that one was not elaborated anywhere, we thought maybe we just come up with either bylaw or an act of resolution from the council, which we have started to ensure that the resolution is passed. I think it was recorded in one of the meetings, committee meeting, finance meeting, where we recommended that these access fees can be collected.
When was that? When did you report it to the committee?
That last council.
When?
Last quarter of 2023.
When?
Last year, December 2023.
You have the minutes, because the auditors came in April.
We are still waiting for the full council seat this March.
No, I'm saying, just cool down. The auditors came in April,
yes.
So you sat quiet. In December, you decided to report to the committee, waiting for the full council meeting. Is that the position? Is that the position?
Yes, we are still waiting for full council.
No, I'm saying they came in April, then you remained quiet, you went to bed up to December. December you report to the committee and you are waiting for the full council. I'm saying, is that the position?
Yes.
And that to us indicates that you have a lot of money from property rates, isn't it? Because if you really needed the money, you can't wait up to that, my officer, my good officer. You can't wait from April up to December just to report. And you are not even looking for a resolution. Now we are getting into April. You mean you had no meeting, no full council meeting from January to date? I'm asking.
We had, Chair.
You had a full council meeting.
Yes, Chair.
And you didn't take this particular item to be approved by the full council meeting. Council Secretary, is that the position?
Chair, the reported in the last meeting.
All right, Auditor General's office.
It was reported in the last meeting.
Yes, go ahead. Please pay attention.
Chair, I'm concerned with the inconsistency. When we carried out the audit, management responded, and I quote, "Management has acknowledged the auditor's observations at the time of audit. However, management has written and invoiced the companies and are awaiting payment. Documentation is available for verification."
Thank you very much.
This was the response.
The response from management. Today they are still seeking approval from the council. On the other side, they have issued invoices. Council Secretary, at the expense of misleading and which you read to this committee to invoke Kaptkov. Give us the position.
Thank you, Chair. When it was discovered as an audit query, we wanted to find out.
No, I want to find out from you first, Council Secretary. Is what the Auditor General's office submitting, is it from you?
Yes.
And it's true?
Yes, it's true.
What your officer submitted here a few minutes ago, that you reported to a committee and you are still waiting for the approval so that you have the bylaws and then you're able to charge those people. Is that true as well?
Yes, when we discovered that there's needed to collect access fee.
At the same time, is it true that from your submission here, you said there is no parliamentary regulation that would allow us to enforce the payments or to collect money from this because there is no law? So instead you have to wait for the council, you come up with a bylaw, so that at the end of the day you have this. At the same time, you are able to issue now the invoice to collect the same money. So which is which?
What I can say, Chair, is when it was brought before us, is that especially this year, we ensured that we went through the statutes to see where it allows us to collect taxes fee. And according to the advice from the legal, we found there's nothing. The one that can back us is either we come up with a bylaw or we use the council resolution sometimes, because council resolution is more faster than the bylaw. The process for bylaw sometimes takes long. So we thought that the process then to start, let's use the council resolution for now.
So why didn't you give the same to the auditors? Why did you tell them that you have actually issued an invoice for them? She's here. She was just reading your response as management response.
I think, let me ask the DF to come in.
All right, DF.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Switch off your mic, yes.
Thank you very much, Chair. Initially, what happened when we were cited for this audit query, we issued some invoices to the affected companies. But in the due course of doing that, they were asking us, what law have we applied for you to issue this so that we can pay? After that, in the due course, we had a legal officer who said, no, you can't issue this because it's not there unless maybe if we can institute a bylaw or a council resolution.
DF, do you appreciate that you have given us two answers before this committee? You have two answers. Do you appreciate that?
Yes, Chair.
That in the first place, you said you are able to get things done, you're able to get the money, you're able to get whatever is supposed to correct. But at the same time, you said the legal officer advised you that you can't go ahead unless you have a resolution. And that's the resolution. And that's why I was asking that from the time the auditors came through your institution, that was in April, you could not do anything. If you really wanted to collect these funds, how do you wait up to December and then you report so that you have a full council, you have a resolution from the council that will give you the mandate?
Chair, as just you have highlighted or observed, they are not helping this committee. If I may ask, what was your basis of preparing the invoice? What were the rates? You didn't have the council resolution? You didn't have a bylaw? When the auditors visited you, you issued invoices. What was the basis of how much did you charge? Where did you get those fees and charges? If you didn't have all this law with you and you told the auditors that you had invoiced, what was the basis for your invoicing? What were the rates?
Thank you, Chair. What happened was we didn't have the rates ourselves. But after the auditors have gone through, they tabulated what we are supposed to pay. And we depended on those tabulated figures from the auditors, which we used to raise some invoices. But now when we delivered them to the real clients so they can make a payment, the question that we say, where have you gotten these figures for you to charge us, and what law have you applied for you to come up with these figures? This is the reason why when we contacted our legal officer, I said no, it needs a council resolution or a bylaw for you to have a backing over this one.
Rules that one. Chair, what I've observed with Kalumbila Council is that you are getting a lot of money from the mines, and that is what is making you fail to explore and ensure that you collect taxes. Chair, we are suffocating one payer at the expense of others who are supposed to participate in this basket. And that's why you have relaxed. You don't know what to do. You can't come up with a council resolution. As the chair asked, all that period you had meetings. Chair, I will refer to page 13, Chair. Failure to collect petroleum storage. Chair, very clear source of revenue, and these resources of revenue, they are there. I'm just trying to confirm to you that you're not doing enough.
Page 13.
Page 13, Chair. On the failure to collect revenue, on Tepo as a title. They have failed to collect rentals from the office, the DC. Yes, they're engaging is government to government. I will not talk about the DC's office. But a failure to collect petroleum storage fees.
Treasurer.
You see, Chair, and you say the reason there that council has been collecting the petroleum storage fees according to the volumes of liters. Now, I've perused through Appendix 7, Council Secretary. Appendix 7, the attachments, you have only attached, there is 5 of them, 1 collection for 2022, 3 for 2021, and we're not looking at the 2021. If you look at the dates of the collection that and the attachments, 3 of them for 2021, 1 only for 2022, and the other one is for 2024. So how do you explain that in 2021 you collected the 3, 2022 only 1, the year under review? So it is demonstrating that you have no innovation. As long as you are collecting to pay salaries from one source of income and local government equalization fund, you are home and dry. Auditors have to tell you these mines are supposed to do this. No innovation. You don't see, you are even saying, challenging them. Say, no, we don't have the law. Instead of being innovative, coming up with a bylaw, it's a long process. So, Chair, what I've observed, most of the, having worked in the councils, there are councils that are supposed to even collect more and pay others because of the positions they are in or the economic activity in that environment. But this council, I don't see any innovation. Why have you failed to collect petroleum fees in 2022?
Treasurer.
Thank you, Chair. In the year 2022, we collected the petroleum levies. Now, what was queried on Kalumbila Town Council said we are under collecting. And we explained this to the external auditors to say we are not under collecting, but what we are collecting is dependence on the volume of storage of the fuel that each filling station has. So collection, Chair, was there. What was queried was under collection. And we explained to them to say we collect according to the volume. I submit, Chair.
You know that, Treasurer, the query that my colleague is raising is from your report. Are you aware that whatever we're asking is from your report? Treasurer.
I'm aware, Chair.
You are aware that we are doing all those things. And then you are aware that, Treasurer, you had an opportunity to iron out this with the external auditors, and it was going to be removed. So for you to come here and then start pointing fingers with the auditors, that we told them that we are collecting, but what the query is on the volumes, as we are looking at, that you have failed to collect. If there was an explanation like that, you had an opportunity to do that. But as far as we are concerned, we are looking at this query that has come to this committee. And once it has come here, we have to interrogate it. So what we are seeing is what we are asking you, not what you explain to them. No. Honorable Simumba.
Just the last one also, Chair, maybe on page 14, over employment of staff, on page 14. Chair, the council was supposed to employ only 38. That was authorized positions. But instead they employed 57, excess of 19 officers. I took interest, Chair, on the action taken. The action taken is different with what happens in some of the councils. You find that the local government commission chair is the one who is overemploying, sending staffs to the management. But to Kalumbila, it's Kalumbila who wrote, the management would like to acknowledge the auditor's observation and wishes to report that positions were filled depending on the need of the council and the available funds, Kalumbila Town Council requested the Local Government Service Commission for staff in order to improve the efficiency and the effectiveness of service delivery to the community. And the Local Government Commission responded by employing the officers. So, which means the management chair wrote to the Local Government Commission. Now, the question that I would want to find out from the management, why did you request for more staff before restructuring the staff complements? Because here it shows that you are the one who requested from the local government. And why did you give them the more staff?
Why did you ask for additional 19 officers?
Thank you, Chair. We requested for more officers looking at the amount of work that was there in Kalumbila.
But what is the establishment?
The establishment was showing, I think there are a few, let me check the establishment. Yes. Looking
Chair,
at the staff,
I just want to help with this here. Chair, there is a generic structure in the local government service for a town council, municipal council, and the city council. And that generic structure was done by cabinet, properly looking at how many hours each and every worker would put in all the town councils. So within that generic structure, you are supposed to provide the services. Yes. But now, because Kalumbila has a lot of money, they want to employ more so that they can have relaxed. Why is Siavonga not having a different structure from others? So you will find that in other councils, they are departing from the generic structure, they are coming up with their own structure, distorting the vision and position of government. Although that time, I'm talking about the commission then, they allowed that. But this is where now we have a problem.
When I look at the queries that are all over here, I doubt if those officers were employed to deliver service. I doubt, based on your report. I doubt very much. Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. If maybe I can take, for example, when we were executing most of the projects, we had only about, I think, in terms of engineers, assistant civil engineers, at that time we had only one assistant civil engineers. And you look at the projects that we were executing, the CDF project, there's ward development projects.
CS, you will not educate us on that. All these are members of parliament. We are running district, we are running constituencies, we are running councils.
Yes.
So we know the works that are found in every district. That's why we are wondering is what is so what's so different, what's so special about Kalumbila, where you need officers? Because every district, even the monies, are you getting more than other districts in terms of CDF, or the same CDF that you are getting everywhere? And we look at your report, you are still failing in many areas. Okay, now that you got 19 extra officers, why should we be finding queries? You are not supposed to be sitting before this committee, because you had a lot of officers, a lot of officers to deliver service.
Can I
Yes,
continue?
go ahead, please.
Yes. Chair, some of the stuff that we requested, I know there could be some few which were saying overemployment. Maybe let me just get back to human resource, can add some more to clarify that one.
Human resource, you can't fence the dump site, you can't sort out the waste, but you have a lot of officers. What were those special officers for?
Chair.
Yes, HR. Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, Chair, we overemployed because of the need. There was a need which was required at the district level to provide the service, because as you know, Kalumbila is a joint district and we needed officers to execute these services.
Can you give me two of those duties that you needed officers? Because we have new officers, we have new districts, Kankata, Vubui, Imitete, all those are new districts. Can you give me a special duties that you wanted more officers yourselves?
Like Kalumbila, that's when we were trying to create township roads. We needed the civil engineers to open up the roads.
No, 19, yes, go ahead.
We also needed the revenue collectors to be collecting revenue from the markets and the bus stations and the toilets to help to beef up.
But under the establishment of that local authority, you have all those in the structure. You are still justifying that you needed more officers. Why are you not fencing the dump site? Why are you not sorting out the waste? If you needed officers to do the job, why should we have these queries? If I can go query by query, why? When you have more officers, because your colleagues are able to do that who have a normal structure in these local authorities. They're able to do that. They're able to attend to those.
Chair, maybe I can come in on that one.
Please go ahead.
Yes, on the question on the dump site, I think we took long to fence the dump site, in that the land in question, we still needed to clear some disputes that were there, because we had the first dump site that was encroached and it was forced to close because the residents there wanted to use it to get stones for building.
The lack of title deeds, a lot of officers, and this is the reason as to why you have 2-3 people that will come back and say, no, there is an anti-you there, and you didn't find it yourself. We went there.
Thank you, Chair. On the issue of title deeds, we have started the process, and we have so far acquired some of the titles.
When did you start that?
The process, some of them were reported to the council last year to acquire titles, because it needed first a council resolution to acquire a title. So most of them surveyed. What is remaining actually is the market that has to be, but most of them, they are on offer and the title. Some 4 of them are on title already, and others were on offer.
But that was after the auditors came through, when you had all the officers. Honorable Simumba, Honorable Mitete.
Chair, I'm getting worried, Chair, because when you look at the very issue that we are talking about of employment of staff, they even went further, Chair, to employ 3 officers who were employed in 2 positions which did not exist in the establishment register. 14, page 14.
Page 14.
Further, on page 14, Chair, of employment, there is further 3 officers were employed in 2 positions which did not exist in the establishment register, bringing excess staff to 22. And the Chair, however, 7 excess employees were paid salaries in amounts totaling to 741 during the period under review. And this, Chair, 771 could have been used in other services in Kalumbila. So why do you employ officers which do not exist in the establishment register?
Thank you. Mitete, we wanted to say something. We want to
Chair, Kalumbila. The 3 projects it was gratifying to hear, no, these are for the words, the money. So where did this money come from? Was it equalization fund or locally generated? And then when are we finishing these projects? Since 2022.
Thank you, Chair.
Before you respond, just the last one. Honorable Mwanza.
Some projects. Yeah, these three, the three projects, one by 3 classroom block, 2 number, and then the Kisasa Rural Health Clinic. The total cost is 2,550,150. So we want to know the source of funding. Is it from equalization? Because from equalization, 20% of the equalization fund cannot fund these projects. And the Kisasa Clinic, you have indicated that the project is completed. I don't see any completion certificate. What is the status? Is the clinic operational? Then the extension of time that these 2 contracts pass through, the 1 by 3 classroom block and in 2 different wards. Why is it that council offered to extend the construction period of the contractors without a contractor's application? Because I've just seen the council only writing to the contractor to say we are extending your contract for 11 weeks for such a time, but there was no application from the contractor to explain, to apply for extension of time. Anyway,
Thank you.
Due to time.
Yes, Council Secretary.
The source of funding from this project is World Development Funds. That is coming from rates.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And then so far these projects have been completed and handed over. As I think one of the reports where I saw showing completion of certificates is the one which was just on the extra files that has been forwarded to you.
Okay.
They'll be showing that like based on Muluka, the one has been handed over and finished, and also the clinic has been completed.
Okay, now where you extended the period, do you have the letter from the contractor requesting for extension of time?
That letter from extension of there was one time there are times when
Okay, Karumbira, unfortunately we will not continue with you, but we have noticed a lot of gaps. 741,000. 741,000, that is the cost of a classroom block, or a good road for Karumbira, or boreholes for Karumbira. But this money we are giving to the officers that are not supposed to be there, 7 of them, at the cost of 741. If Karumbira is listening, that's the money that was supposed to go to their clinic, that's the money that was supposed to go to their roads, that's the money that was supposed to go to their boreholes and other amenities. But this council, your council Karumbira, has requested the ministry that we need more officers so that a lot of people can get money, because there is a lot of money in Karumbira. We are visiting Ikeling, and Karumbira will be one of them. We'll come and see what is happening in Karumbira. In May, we'll come there. Otherwise, we want you to put your house in order. We'll see, we'll visit you, possibly. Put your house in order. Your report has a lot of gaps, inconsistencies that we have noticed with your report. It's our dear hope that you will not experience what we experienced as management, where somebody told you there is an anti-you and it was not there, and we hope we will not get these things in the same way, that what you are submitting, when we come there we find there's something different. then we feel that the team is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. That's to deliver service. Thank you very much for making this appearance. We appreciate you. And we are withdrawing the immunity that was conferred on you. You are free to leave.
The National Assembly of Zambia established constituency offices in all constituencies during the period 2003 to 2006. The offices were established with a view to improve the member-constituent relationship by increasing the frequency, quality of interaction between members of parliament and the citizens. To this effect, all the 156 constituencies have a constituency office. Presiding officers have a program of work to familiarize themselves with operations at all the constituency offices. The second Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly of Zambia, Honorable Moses Moyo, who is also chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee on Reforms and Modernization, accompanied by some staff of the National Assembly, undertook a tour of some constituencies in Northwestern Province. The Honorable Second Deputy Speaker and his entourage had the first assignment at Solwezi East Parliamentary Constituency in Mushindamo District, situated at St. Dorothy area in Kalilele Ward. The team was on arrival, met by Area Member of Parliament Dr. Alex Katakwe and other local senior government officials and civic leaders.